Okay, we're going to take a look at a Minnesota Gophers inside zone running play against Middle Tennessee. This is in the first half. Ends up going for a long gain because Middle Tennessee brings edge pressure and the Gophers are able to pick it up. So I'm going to draw out the blocking schemes and we'll take a look at frame by frame how things play out. So this is going to be, as I said, an inside zone play where the handoff is going to come here and the running back's actually going to cut it back. So the front side is actually going to be the right side of the offensive line. So the tackle and the guard are going to block man on the end and tackle on the front side. The guard and the center are going to combination block the nose tackle up to the linebacker is here. Now, as I mentioned, Middle Tennessee normally would have the backside inside linebacker lined up here, but they walked him up pre-snap on the edge. And then the corner, they also walked up inside because they're actually going to bring a corner crash here, and they're going to bring the inside linebacker off the edge here. So they're going to, as I said, bring edge pressure. So had the inside linebacker been lined up in his normal spot, what would have happened is the way the Gophers have been running it is the backside tackle and tight end would have combination blocked on this defensive end up to the inside linebacker. So as it is, they end up that the backside tackle takes the backside defensive end, and then the backside tight end ends up trying to come back in the inside linebacker and actually ends up blocking out both, getting a piece of both the corner and the inside linebacker. So let's take a look at the next frame. So you can see this is where the handoff's happening now. You have the combination block I mentioned. So the guard is coming up to block the inside linebacker. This is the tackle on the defensive end we talked about. And then this is the tight end who, again, as we mentioned, would have combination blocked up to this linebacker. But because he was walked out, he ends up splitting out, trying to get a piece of this inside linebacker. And actually the corner, who's also coming off the edge, he ends up blocking him. So I wanted to point out the reason this play ends up going for such a long gain is in a normal circumstance, this safety would have been just coming up for run support because, as I mentioned, the corner who's coming on a crash would have had man coverage against this wide receiver. So had this played out with just normal base defense, more than likely if it were picked up, you would have seen the running back cut back and then the safety come up to, tackle it for anywhere from probably a 4 to maybe an 8 or 9 yard gain. But because they bring a corner crash, this safety has to roll over and play coverage on the wide receiver. So he's going to totally take himself out of the play, and the running back's going to come through because they can't get the edge pressure, and he's just going to be untouched for a long gain. So we'll see in the next frame. The handoff has occurred. This is the running back right here. You can see that the tight end ended up getting just a piece of the linebacker who actually missed the tackle because he couldn't get around the tight end. This is the corner being just by default here being blocked out by the tight end. And the running back, of course, is going to make a little cut here and then get vertical. And you can see that this is the safety has man coverage, so he's not playing run at all. So he has no clue that the run is coming back towards him, which is not his responsibility. And then the other safety has a long ways to go to come over. So tackle's going to end up being made by these two guys actually converging downfield. So if we look at the last frame, it ends up being I think it was a 20+ yard gain. This is the backside safety, and the other person we pointed out in the previous clip making the tackle. As it were, the running back had just returned a kickoff for like 40 yards a play before, so otherwise he may have just outran this and ended up being a straight touchdown. This was the safety, that had come over and played man coverage on the wide receiver because of the corner crash, so ended up being a big gain.